Hello, everyone. Welcome to our student experience webinar, part of the ANU webinar week, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Akib and I work as the Senior Marketing Officer at the College of Science and College of Health and Medicine. I will be your host for today's session, but before we get started, some housekeeping things to note. This webinar will be recorded and the recording will be made available after the event. So you will be able to ask questions or make comments via the question answer tab, which is located at the bottom of your screen. And if you do not wish your question or comment to be in the recording, please contact science@anu.edu.au after the event. I will also leave that detail in the chat box for you all. Today, I would like to introduce our panelists, Kamru and Hong, who are both doing PhD in environment at the Australian National University. Today, they're here to share their insights and experience as a student at ANU and to answer any questions that you may have. And just a final reminder, so you have got the question answer tab at the bottom. If you have got any questions, please feel free to send them through and we will address those questions after the event. Great, so let's get started. Hi, Kamru and Hong. Thanks for joining us today. Kamru, we'll start with you. Could you tell us about yourself, your background, and why you chose to study environment?
Thank you, Akib. It's nice to join in this webinar. I am Kamru. I have been doing my PhD at my third year. I am basically at the early of my third year of my PhD, which is about 3.5 years. At this moment, I have been writing up my thesis since I have completed my field work and all other things. So it is just the wrapping up of last periods of my PhD work. Well, my background intersects mainly from the natural resource management, that is especially from crop science in bachelor degree. And I have did two master's degree. My first one was environmental science management from human perspective, human behavior and technology adoption for environmental sustainability. My second master's is from Wageningen University in Netherlands. There I have studied about the rural innovation for environmental sustainability and ensuring green economy. I have been interested about environmental science from the very childhood of my life. I have come from Bangladesh, and this country has been suffering from flood almost every year. Flood is a major concern for the safe life, livelihood, economy, and growth of Bangladesh. So from my childhood, we have been struggling to adapt with a flood and to sustain our economy. So from that perspective, I was interested to learn about environmental science and how to understand those environmental parameters that causes a flood and how we can adapt to those flood situation for saving our lives and livelihood in Bangladesh. So from my very childhood of my study, I have been interested about environment and natural resource management from different perspectives.
Great, thanks, Kamru. Thank you so much. Hong, how about you? So what's your story and what motivated you to study environment?
Thanks, Akib, and good day, everyone. So, I think that I'm a little bit different to Cameroon, and to be honest, so I didn't choose environment, or I didn't do it by purpose, or I should say I do it accidentally, because that that when I'm based in China, and when I graduate from my high school, and we need to choose a major. And at that time, so I find that a major will be very interesting for me. So the name is environmental engineering. But you know that at that period, many years ago, there's not a lot of introduction, so we don't have a lot of chance to communicate with unis that before we go to unis. Not like that some of you guys that you are in Australia or in other countries, you have a chance to communicate with students in the uni, but I don't. So I totally have no idea about what is environmental engineering, and I think that it is not engineering at all. I think it is like something landscape management, or because when we think about financial engineering or computer engineering, also kind of things. But when I went there and I found, okay, it's definitely a very solid engineering, very similar to civil engineering. Okay, but I'm still in it, and I need to finish my degree. So I persuaded myself, and I tried very hard to do that. And because to make my CV better, or to perform better, so I still stay in labs that for 2 years to study one kind of bacteria that called photosynthetic bacteria. And finally, after 4 years study, I successfully get an honor degree of Bachelor of Environmental Engineering. But after that, I find that I totally hate lab works, and I would really want to change. And I found that when I applying, I found that I have quite limited choice because I finished a degree with engineering, and I don't have a lot of choice when I want to continue my study in master. So and you provide a degree called Master of Environment, and I'm fitted. So that's surprising. That makes me happy, and I enrolled it successfully. And so that's the reason I came to use. Also, I'm now as the same year as Cameron. I'm a PhD student now. But when I was in a master, I studied a lot of. I should say that I haven't studied before the course like management course or certain economic course. And when I study more and think harder, and I'll have some more ideas, and I want to do something, and especially for my hometown, like Cameron mentioned. So some things like happened in your childhood, and it will always inspire you or just support you. So I want to do something for my hometown. So my hometown is from the southern western part in China. So and a lot of big rivers and a lot of dams construction at that, and the resettlement is a very big issue at that. And so then I find that if I want to do something, I need to do some research, some real on the ground research. So I transferred to a degree called Master of Environment Advanced. So that's 1 year, 1 year research. So around 48 units, and then after doing that. My master, I find that I just started and I want to keep doing research, and so that's the reason I still kick off in my PhD journey. So that's about me. So yeah.
Great. Thanks, Hong. Thank you so much. That's both of your stories are pretty impressive, right? So you're from China and Kamru's from Bangladesh. I think
Yes.
that's a really good story. So when you moved from China to Canberra, what was your experience? What was your first thoughts, and what is your thought now?
So I speak first, Cameron. Is that okay?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. So I feel that definitely it's a very good place. It's a very quiet and quite beautiful city. You know that Canberra called that bush capital,
yeah.
and there's a lot of trees and also a lot of birds like parrots, on no matter magpies and possums, and you can meet a lot of wild animals that even in the campus in NU's campus. And it's really a beautiful city and a quiet city, and for your study, and I should say it's definitely a good place for you guys to for us to doing research or to at least or reading, or and it's also very good to do exercise. You can sometimes I just cycling around the Lake Griffin, and also you can if you have more energy that you can biking to the Lake George or somewhere else, and definitely another thing is that we should accept because it's a quiet city, so we don't have a lot of attractions. So and not like Sydney, and you have a lot of place to have fun. But I should say that Canberra do have very good beer, the best book, and the crankshaft I really like it, and a lot of good cafes like the Coping Board and a lot of others, and also a lot of good restaurants, no matter in Kingston or other places. So that's my feeling about Canberra.
Yeah,
I,
I should. Yeah.
Sorry, I was about to mention about the coffee anyway, and I think you were spot on with the coffee.
Yeah.
I think I've tasted one of the best coffees in Canberra.
Yeah, me too. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I should add with I should repeat with Hong that it's Canberra is a very quiet city, especially it is good for researcher and for students to study.
Yeah.
And I would definitely say it's a very less traffic in the roads and almost a pollution-free city. It's very beautiful, very calm and quiet city with a lot of natural beauty. Yeah, although it's not like a very popular city like or very much usually named city like Sydney or Melbourne, but still there are lots of historical places like war memorials, the National Parliament, and all other areas. So yeah, at the very beginning when I came to Canberra, it was really a bit. I feel like lonely or alone. But day by day, when I was used to with this city and have some small few friends, and I really like this city. Even if I go to visit other cities like Sydney or Melbourne, yeah, they have different beauty, different busyness in their life, rush. But still, I miss my Canberra. I always try to come back, and this is my home. This is my second home.
Absolutely. I think also the best part, which I really love here, is that it doesn't take you more than 20 to 30 minutes to get from one place to the other.
yeah,
Yeah,
So, the travel is so easier. The food is good. The coffees are great.
yeah,
I think
yeah,
I love it. I'll
yeah. I
personally,
love it definitely.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. That's great.
right. So Hong, as environment is such a vast field, there's ecology,
yeah.
sustainability, biodiversity, conservation. There's so many different fields. What in environment is your area of interest in particular?
Yeah, I should say, so you guys believe it or not. So because I think that my bachelor in engineering that also shaped my thinking about environment issues
Hmm.
and that I should say that from a very practical perspective. So, and I think that I have that different idea with others, at least to a lot of other environmentalists or leftists. So, because you know that a lot of people, when I talk, if they are talking about environmental protection or sustainable development, they will say, okay, we are the same as the other species, or we are part of the ecosystem, or we need to treat the social or the ecological system that as the same, or we should not put human beings at the central, and uh, and and some people will say that we need to create as slight as possible effect to the environment, and so that is called deep ecology by the Kirby. Anyway, so you will see that a lot of people when what I meet that they have such kind of ideas, but I, I think I'm a little bit different and I'm more practical because uh, so I want to insert a little bit philosophy knowledge at here because you know your epistemology that is very important that shaping your idea and also your research as well. So my favorite philosophist is Immanuel Kant, and one of the idea he mentioned in the critique of the purism, three critics, is that he says that the only approach that we know the world that is through our sensibility, namely that space and time. So to our knowledge, so it means the world that we see today. So even in terms like the ecosystem is actually that human centralized because we are human beings and we see all of this from our eyes. And maybe ants and birds have whereas the eyes they will see a different word or word words that were different, but all of the things over there today are through our human beings' eyes. So if we mention that the sustainable development, so from my own perspective, actually we should say that it's a sustainability, a sustainable development for the human beings actually because we don't know what happens on other species and we see that some species are dying or they are but it's also from our eyes as well. So that's my epistemology. So and after realizing this point and I began to see I shouldn't say criticize, but to evaluate that some actions or policies proposed today, and you will find that some of them are a little bit naive. So based on this, you can find that even I'm studying environment, so I'm more interested in the human societies. So I'm definitely a big fan of environmental policy and management. I'm not. I mentioned I hate that lab works, so I'm not technically that scientist working in labs, but I should regard myself as a social scientist. Okay, and well, what I do enjoy is reading and listening and chatting with people. So and also maybe sometimes debate with others and or criticize that some focusing events or some policies. So so you can see from above statement is that my research is mainly focused on the environment management and environment policy issues that more specifically that because I have a lot of projects to collaborate with others and some projects like I mentioned from my hometown. So I'm mostly doing three kinds of things. So one is about river basin management, and another is rural and urban development. And it sounds like that not so typically that's related to environment, but actually it has a lot of environment issues in today's urban development or urbanization. And the third part is very theoretical. It's about sustainable development and resilience. So that's about my research. Yeah.
Right. So do you get to spend a lot of time on the field? Go out, go out, and meet
Yes.
different people and do.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, yeah. So I have just finished my field work that before the COVID-19 breakout. That I finished my field work that in January in China that with with my supervisor Jamie Peter and with also a lot of colleagues from Tsinghua University that we are going to interview the managers of the reserves, the nature reserves
Yeah.
to evaluate that the multi-level governance in the natural resource management scheme. So I have just finished this fieldwork, and a lot of fieldworks before is that I mentioned that I'm from a place where has a lot of big rivers and a lot of big dams. So, and the resettlement is an issue. So I spend a lot of time to stay and to work with the local communities and to interview them and to work and also to work with them and stay overnight with them. Yeah, yeah. So
That's really fantastic. Thank you so much. How about you, Kamru? So what's your area of expertise?
Well, you are true that environmental science is a very vast area. From different perspective you can contribute to the environmental science studies and research. For me, I am particularly interested about the natural resource management under the context of climate change.
Hmm.
In the perspective of environmental change, environmental science, climate change is a burning issue that is impacting everyone's through in their lives and livelihoods. So I am interested about particularly about the adaptation to agriculture sector, especially for rice farming. And as you know, I'm interested about flood. So I'm examining the flash flood adaptation, particularly in the northern part of Bangladesh, where rice farming is a prominent farming. So how, and from the human perspective, human behavior and community perspective, how they can adapt better to flash flooding in order to sustain their crop production, in order to manage their farming activities. In that case, I have been looking from different social science theories in order to understand how people are adapting, why they are behaving in a particular way, and how we can help them to adapt better with the flash flood in Bangladesh perspective. In addition, I have been using different theories that have been in the earlier stage and have been utilized in different countries to understand the complex process of agricultural development and natural resource management for environmental sustainability. I'm working with those theories and trying to understand better this problem of flash flood adaptation in Bangladesh.
Right. So, so please correct me if I'm wrong here, but from what I understand from this conversation is that you're also applying, not only that you're studying environment, but you're also applying other ideologies. It could be, something related to psychology or sociology,
Yeah,
and different thinkings from those perspectives into environment,
yeah,
which makes it more multidisciplinary. So the approach of research is more multidisciplinary in
yeah,
nature.
yeah.
Yes,
So
in environmental science, it covers and it affects. We all are related with environment.
Yeah. Yeah.
The people, the plants, the biodiversity, the animals, and so all are related. So how we behave with the environment, it affects the environment, and also any change or any parameters of environment, they also impact on our lives and livelihoods. So to study anything from environmental science, it is not only from you cannot get better understanding from only one discipline. You have to combine from different
Right.
disciplines. It may be from engineering science, from biology, from social science, from psychology. So you have to combine all sorts of things. So it's like a multidisciplinary study. So you are not expert in one discipline or one topic. You have to combine all those topics to better understand an environmental problems in the society.
Absolutely. I think
can
this is
I add
good.
something to
Yeah,
Camus?
sure, sure.
Yes.
Go on.
Yes, so yes, in short, Camus says that environment, because environment can simply is divided into physical environment and human environment or social environment as well. And you know that I forget to mention that in my research is that I also use uh, that satellite images. So and
Mm.
it's definitely a very a big disciplinary that in NU that because NU is very famous for its geography, sorry,
Yeah.
geography,
Mm.
and the geography it was used to be a separate school in the NU, but now combined that with environment, but still that you can see a lot of super you can see professors or research fellows or even student PhD students or even maybe undergraduates or master students. I think a lot, maybe 40 or 50% or even in the final skills that they are looking at environmental issues like the bushfire management, like you mentioned, climate change mitigation or climate change adaptation through the lens of the geography, no matter remote sensing skills or GIS skills. So that for us that who are investigating river management, that we also need to rely on such kind of information like the satellite images that we need to uh, for example, for very simple that you just log into the Google Earth Pro that you can just type location and you can see that you guys can try and you can see that is a dam at here, is the government lie to you? And it will be very clear that to see it from the Google Earth and also you can do it that through a lot of other softwares as well. So it is the computer science or the IT technology is really helpful as well. From the perspective of because I'm more interested in politics and and sociology, like you mentioned, okay. So uh, just imagine that we live in a very well managed landscape and we have the best management schemes that in the world that we have a very coordinated development between the biosphere and the human society. But what happens is that so there will be two groups in the society. We have wars, and no, such kind of schemes will just break down immediately. And if we have or if we have some other big issues, so no one will care about the environment issues. Okay, so it is a truth, but it's a very extreme example. It might not be happen very broadly in the world, but it will happen. You
Mm.
shouldn't say it will not happen at all. But yes, so as I see, a lot of issues, environment management issue, actually is also human driven. So that's the thing I want to add. Yeah.
Right. That's good. Some good, really good points there, Hong. Thank you so much. From the conversation we have had before, you mentioned that you also studied your Masters of Science, sorry, Masters of Environment here,
Environment, yeah, yeah.
Environment in Advanced. So one question which I particular have is why did you choose ANU to pursue that degree?
So I think that's a good question to answer to ask. And okay, uh, the first thing is like I mentioned, I have just limited trace, and because I'm doing engineering, and you have to if you don't want to like if you want to study some pre-requirement course, you can also enroll in other degree, but I don't want to do that. And also, I can only choose a major that based on my bachelor's major. So, and NU is just the few universities in the world because I also looked at a lot of universities in US that offer the such kind of degrees that meet my demands because I don't want to do very technical stuff at all. So that's the first reason, and the second reason is that definitely NUS has a very prestige and a very good reputation about the study of environmental science. You can see no matter the ranking of environmental science or environmental studies, it is highly ranked. I think in the top 20, or
Hmm.
sometimes yes, web is 13 or 17. So it is, and also the overall rankings of NU is really high as well. And yes, so that's the reason I choose NU to study master environment. Yeah.
Right. So how about you, Kamru? So when you decided to do your PhD, so how did you decide that ANU is going to be a place for you?
Well, that's a good question. I have been applying for PhD in some universities where I will get some good expertise from the researchers, from professors, and good environment for studying my environmental science. You know, the Fenner School of Environment and Society under the College of Science in Australian National University is highly reputed worldwide for its environmental studies. But moreover, I should say the environment of this school and the facilities from and expertise from different researchers in this school. I think that they are very highly reputed and they can support me to better understand my research problem and to pursue my research. Most importantly, I should mention my supervisor, Captain Daniel. She is expert in water management and water policy worldwide.
Hmm.
She is renowned both in Australia and outside of Australia through her research network collaboration and research projects. So I find that it is a great opportunity for me if I could work with Captain Daniel, could get some research insights and support from her in order to pursue my PhD work. But fortunately, I have been awarded three scholarships, two from Australia and another from Sweden, to pursue my PhD at a time. And after considering everything, I have selected Australian National University to continue my PhD. And at this point of my early third year, I thought that I have taken the best decision to come here.
Absolutely. Wow, that's really good. I didn't know you held so many
Oh,
scholarships.
oh, nice talent.
That's
Yes,
amazing. Three
Yes,
scholarships
amazing.
from three
Thank you.
different places.
yes.
Great. Kamru, what are some of the future prospects for students, say, studying either the Masters of Environment or the Master of Environmental Science? So one thing definitely is, they can choose a path of studying further, go getting into research, and the research could be, something that you are doing currently, which is applied, which is more,
Yes.
field work and going out and unearthing some of those questions, or also it could be something which is very theoretical in nature. But what are the other future prospects after students complete their masters?
There should after just completing the master's program, I think there are some very applied job demands in the field of Australia. For instance, if we see recent catastrophe in Australia like bushfire,
Yeah.
it has greatly impacted the lives and livelihood economy of Australia. So the people or the students who pursue their master's degree from FENA, from environmental science, they can get easily job from different industry and NGOs and other agencies. to pursue their research and study for better management of bushfire. In addition, we know in Australia drought is a great problem for agricultural productivity. So they have immense prospects there. If I just want to mention, recently, I just forget the organization name. There is a
Mhm.
job circular that is about community gardening in Canberra, and they
Right.
are hiring people who have
ACT
expertise.
Park Service, I think that's. Is that
Uh,
ACT Park Services?
yeah. So they are hiring people who have knowledge from environmental science and also crop science, combination of these things, and have a very good salary. So this is
Mhm.
a very imminent resources and job opportunities for them. In addition, yesterday maybe I have got an email that is they're hiring some people in Canberra about the data management from environmental sciences. And the requirement is those who have some background knowledge from environmental science or environmental management, they can apply. So I think from Australia and in Canberra and different cities, those
Mhm.
people who have knowledge or graduation from environmental science, from FENA, they can easily incorporate it in different job perspectives in Australia. And beyond Australia, in different countries, different NGOs and donor agencies are working with environmental scientists closely to better understand the development strategies. And nowadays there is a new concept of circular economy, and it is widely spread throughout the world to better utilization of resources and maintaining the environmental sustainability. So
Mhm.
circular economy and these sorts of research and concepts are mostly based on the environmental science perspective. So people and graduates who have knowledge from environmental science, environmental management and policy, they can easily contribute in those new concepts. And to sustain our economy and development worldwide after post-COVID, environmental science and the people who has knowledge from better management of environmental policy and sustainability, they will be easily get the high demand from job sector. I believe that.
Mm-hmm. That's some really good points, Kamro. Thank you so much. So now you're in your third year of your PhD. So you have still 1 year. I was told, so in one of the last webinars, I was told that one thing that you never ask a PhD student is when are you going to complete your PhD?
Yes,
That's an evil question, right?
there is a start date of PhD, but there is no end date of PhD.
Absolutely. So I'm not going to ask you when are you going to complete it, but I'm going to ask you what are your future plans after you've completed it?
Just after completing my PhD, I want to keep myself continue in research,
Right.
especially in the natural resource management for climate change adaptation.
Hmm.
So at the very beginning, my first focus is to be adopted as and enrolled as postdoc researcher. But wherever I get better opportunity and offer, I will continue.
Right.
And in addition, I hope to make my collaboration with industry and the media
Media,
people
okay.
in order to make my research more easily available and adapted, utilized by the community for whom
Mhm.
we are doing research.
Yeah.
And I want to continue my research. I want to develop more experiences, more knowledge and skills to better manage the natural resources for environmental sustainability in both Bangladesh, Australia, and all other countries where it is necessary.
Right. That's great. How about you, Hong? So what's your plan after you finished your PhD?
Yes, I think that almost the same with Canberra because that if because we want to do PhD because we have already set up our mind that we want to do research, and I don't suggest that anyone who don't want to do research or who are not crazy about something that who apply to do a PhD because it will be a very annoying thing if you don't want it and you have to do it. So I see that someone who's really struggling about that. So okay, so after I think that I have some idea like Cameron is that if I can apply for a postdoctoral degree or I want to still stay in academia and so that's the reason I'm teaching and tutoring this semester. So if I'm fortunately enough and if I can get a lecture position or some position, so it will be good. But if not, so I think that like Cameron mentions that there will be some chance for postdoctors as well. And I also want to do some works that for industries like consulting, because I like to work with others, work in a multicultural team, or work with different kind of personalities, with different kind of personalities. And I think that I really enjoy doing some policy analysis. So maybe a policy analyst that will be a good choice for me as well. So and you know that there are some NGOs like Cameron mentions, or even like or some like big organizations like World Bank. They are still hiring such kind of policy analyst positions that you can apply for. Also, it's very competitive, I should say, but it's worth to have a try. Yeah.
Great. So for the master students, so who are studying, say, either the bachelor's, master's, PhD, regardless, what are some of the facilities that are offered at the, the Fenner School?
Yes, so I think that I can talk about that because first, and then Cameron can add something because I finished my master. Even if I just took, I think seven course in NU, but I think that I have something to say is that I would like to talk two things out here. So the first is one thing from the library. I think I should say that I do appreciate NU's library. They are really super useful. No matter the resources they provided, the books, the online data set, and also the trainings they offer. A lot of a series of different very excellent trainings like animal training, reference training, and vivo training, and statistic training, how to use the SPSS, and also a lot of other trainings like assist you to use the online resources or develop your impact in academia. And so that's super useful. And there are also trainings from NU, like from the NU television or something. I have attended one. NU communication also so that they were that train you that how to make a public speech that on the TV,
Right.
and how to interview others, and how to write a very short news article or comment. It should be sharp, and it should be critical, and such kind of things are really useful for you. And another is from the academic adversary. So you know that some schools like the Fenner School and the Crawford School, such schools are very interdisciplinary school, and so they are a little bit different. So we have our own academic advisor. So here in Fenner is Julie Watson that who did really help me a lot in my research, that no matter about in the academic writing skills or presentation skills, because if you are doing research, you are going to present in seminars or even in conference, that you need to train some kind of skills, and also the logic development. She helped me a lot about that, and also critical thinking as well. And for others, for students in other schools or in college, I think that the academic skills center is also a good place. That is also another option, and you can book an appointment with them. They can help you to review your LC, or they can help you to have a drop-in writing section, and they will have a very fantastic. So most of the case that will be some students that who is really excellent at in writing. They are doing law or other major in linguist. They will help you to improve your writing. So those are very useful resources, I think, that NU provided. Yes, yeah, and also yeah, and also that for Fenner or some other schools that are very good thing is that they offer office. So even you are a master student, a coursework master student, uh, I don't know if they are still doing now, but because the time when I was a master student, we still have a lot of place, and so you can still have a table that in the office, and the desktop computer, and that's good. So yeah, and that's all free. Yeah, or I should say included in your tuitions.
Right.
Yeah, I should add with Hong that in terms of the library support, I know, I have been searching for one book for my research. and I
Hmm.
did not find it in our university library. But there is an option that is different university in Australia and outside of Australia. They have a collaboration. So what happens? I am a student from Australian National University. I am searching a book, so I can search these books through my university library to others library or others university, even other country, which whom my university has the contract. So from my experience, I didn't find one book from my university, but this book is available from Wollongong University and also in New Zealand. So
Right.
from my office, I can order that book. I got that book within 3 days from my university. I have collected this, used it for read it for 1 month, and then give it back to my university. So
Yeah.
this is a huge opportunity from this university, the collaboration
Yeah.
among different
Yeah.
universities in different countries. And in addition, I should say, in the Fenner School of Environment and Society, where we are doing a PhD, there's a special wing. It is the field service wing of this
Mhm.
of this school. So those students who want some field work with the community, or they want to do some wild animals or plants in any forest, so they get all sorts of supports in terms of physical support, mental support, how the ethics approval. So these all sorts of support they get from this field service wing. And we get an appointment with the staff of those, and they give us some instruction what we need to do, how to proceed further with the field to get the data well, and how to come back safely. So this is amazing for any student who want to do environmental science research at FENAR.
And
Right.
the free vehicles as well.
Yes, yes.
Right. So Hong, when you came to the ANU first to do your masters, what were some of the support services that you personally accessed at ANU?
Yes, I think that the first you know there is a you what's that called that 2 weeks that before the semester started, is that
The
called?
orientation week?
Oh yeah, yeah. Sorry, sorry, I forgot.
Yes.
Yes, so yes, the orientation week. Yes, so you have yes, there are a lot of events that will help you that to facilitate better that in your uni study. So at that time that I attend a lot of workshops like how to start how to read that more effectively. I think that they are all run by the Academic Skills Center, and how to write that more efficiently. And also there are some services that provided by the library, so they will guide you that handbooks that provide that the private guide, and the chiefly that provides the guide as well. So they will lead you and introduce you how you rent, how you borrow a book, and how you check out, and how you return it back. So that's are really useful. And another point is that if you are a postgraduate, so there's an organization called PASA,
Yeah.
Mm.
and they are super useful if you cannot find accommodations that when you just arrive, so they can provide that free accommodations, maximum just 1 week, but it will help you a lot. So for you to transit that from emergency status. So and also I didn't use that, but and also they also provide a lot of other like shut up and writing. If you cannot focus on writing, you can join them, and also a lot of other events. But I didn't join that. But I do join is that the $5 film event. So every month they will run before the COVID-19. Okay, I think that they suspended this for a while, but I don't know that when they are going to start it. So just $5. So you can see you just need to pay $5, and not only you and your families and your peers, your buddies as well. So $5 for your film ticket and every month, and there are really very good movies that to watch, and also another $5 that if you want to eat some sweeties like ice cream, drinks, juice, or popcorn. So that's such kind of a kit is just $5 as well. So PASA is organizing really good events as well. So yeah.
Yeah. So, how flexible do you think would be the master's program for students? Anybody starting the masters, Do you think it's easy to balance the work, study, and also the research?
Okay, I will start talking
Hmm.
first, and then Cameron can add something. So I think that it really depends. So depends that on the program that you enrolled in, if you are doing research or if you are doing exam-based assessment program, like a lot of students, maybe in computer science or in the economics, or they will have a lot of exams. And but I think that as from my experiences, we don't have a lot of exams. To be honest, I didn't take any exams so that in NU, sorry about that. So I didn't have a lot of experience about that. So you know that our assessment are mostly papers or essays or report, and so it is really flexible. If you worked very hard, so you can finish it before the deadline. May because I'm tutoring this semester and teaching this semester. I find that some students finish maybe 1 month before, okay, before the deadline. And then if you want to go to apply a work or apply a job, or if you want to take an intern, so then you are it's really flexible. But I should mention when it is flexible, there are a lot of uncertainties as well. So you know that some works are group assignment, so you need to learn how to cope with others and how to collaborate with others. So and you know sometimes it happened on me. So your member just disappeared and you cannot find him or her. So and it makes that's a chance that you need to take all the responsibilities. Okay, but in total, as I mentioned, so for if you study environment or especially like I'm doing master environment, it's definitely a very flexible, and you can choose that courses from different college. Even I choose some course from the Crawford School, the College of Asia and the Pacific, and you can
Yeah.
also choose some course from the law school as well, and RegNet as well. So it's really it's really a good program, I should say, for the people that who are like me interested in a lot of different areas. Yep.
Mhm. Right.
I can just add from my experience. I have attended one courses of master's course with my PhD. I
Hmm.
can say that the professors are very helpful and very interactive.
Yep.
Whatever your problem or how you are facing problem in your study, maybe you don't have any background or you are facing some complexity to understand any points. So the professors are very interactive. They help you through different advice, providing you some more literatures or giving you personal talk. So
Hmm.
it's very, very appreciating, I think, the interactive and the friendly behavior from the professors to help the students.
Yep.
Right. Great. Finally, so how do you feel about the current COVID situation? So what has changed for you, especially because you're doing a lot of research, which requires you to be in the lab or be out, in the field. So what has changed for you, and how are you, dealing with the current change?
Should I start?
Yeah,
Yep.
go ahead.
Yeah.
Kamal. Yeah.
Okay. Uh, we know that COVID-19 is a pandemic worldwide, so we all are a bit worried, a bit stressed about the situation, what is
Yeah.
happening throughout the country and in the worldwide. As a PhD student, I am lucky that I have completed my field work just before the COVID-19. So in that case, I'm a bit in advantageous position. But still, I need to adjust my research plan. I have been planning to write chapter by chapter and publish each of the chapter as a manuscript and then proceed forward.
Right.
But since March, at the late March, we have to go back to our house to work from the home. We are not allowed to come to uni. So
Yeah.
this is a major change in our PhD life, that we have to adjust to work from home, how to adjust, how to make your personal life and your student life. As a PhD student here, my wife and my daughter, they also live with me in Canberra. So
Right.
earlier, my home was my personal life and my university was my working life. But when the university shut down and I was forced to work from home, then I had to adjust with all those things, maintaining my family, my
Hmm.
small kids, and
Hmm.
also working for my PhD. So in those situations, yeah, it was a bit hard and a bit less productive. But you know, from Australia National University, there are several supports for the students, the guidelines and the strategies and techniques they have given, how you could be still productive. You can maintain your work from your house, and one of the most important thing I have to mention that as a PhD student, the university has extended our program for 6 months and also our scholarship for all the students. So it's a great relief and great support from the university perspective to support the HD students. So we are mentally relaxed that there is no hurry. Okay, take time to adjust in your house. This is a pandemic situation, so much more you can keep yourself productive, it's okay, but there is no specific deadline that you have to maintain or complete within this time frame. So this is a
Mhm.
great support from the university. In addition, we are engaged with a lot of online services from the university. Still, we just miss our office, it's true, when we was in the house, but we get all sorts of support from library access to talking with our supervisors and to all other services. Everything were online, and we can had a lot of Zoom meeting so that we can talk with our supervisors, our fellow friends. I should mention that for our PhD student, we have a specific date in the Thursday afternoon. For
Mhm.
1 hour, we have a Zoom meeting in each 14 days. So we don't feel alone. Even we can see everyone together in a
Yeah.
Zoom meeting, or all our friends, all our fellow colleagues, and we can
Their
also
pets.
discuss, yes, and we can also discuss with our professors and the HDR coordinators about our recent problems in PhD.
Mm.
So although there are a bit change in our plans in PhD, but we are adjusting with those changes, and we are also getting a lot of support from the university and from supervisors to proceed with our PhD in this pandemic condition.
Right. That's really good. I think we're running a bit with the short of time. So we have got just a few minutes. So what we'll do is let's just straight get into the question answer sessions from the students. So we've got a few questions. So the first question is, what's the simple things that we can do beside not wasting the food or reducing plastic to save environment?
So my answer is that so just stop buying that unnecessary clothes. You know that textiles are very a very big part of that current that solid waste that we human beings provide, and all the textiles, almost all the textiles will go to landfill. So
Landfill.
you so you can so you can see that you just stop buying or just try to reuse some of your old clothes or old jeans or some kind of things. Yes, that's my short answer. Yeah.
I can just add that we want to recycle our materials for food, including food and all other materials that we are using every day. If we could avoid plastic and make use of the product that can be recycled, so we can use better utilization of our resources and less impact on our environment as well.
Absolutely. Right. So the next question, are there any opportunities for engineering-based research projects within sustainability science courses?
Yes, definitely there are, but it depends on what kind of engineering studies that you are going to take. I think that you know that there are a lot of collaborations, so you can find a main supervisor, no matter that in the sustainability field or in engineering field, and you can find another supervisor that that if you are going to do research, another supervisor from another discipline. So and if you are doing that coursework, so there are also some kind of opportunities. So there are some course. I shouldn't say that is co-run, but they will invite that some guest lectures that from other colleges or even some other universities, they will introduce some new ideas, no matter that is based in engineering and from the sustainability or based in sustainability and from engineering perspective. I have attended such kind of course, and I think that there are a lot that in yeah.
I want to add in this perspective that my supervisor, for instance, Catherine Daniel, she is a civil engineer,
Mhm.
basically from her bachelor degree. And then she is doing her next research in social science. So any student who want to collaborate with Catherine Daniel, she has the background of engineering, and also she can proceed with the student and guide their research for social science perspective. So how to combine engineering knowledge, social science, and environmental science to better understand any problem or process. So there are lots of these sorts of example in our Fenner School at Australian National University, that the professors have different sorts of expertise in their knowledge, so that they can guide not only engineering students, maybe from medical science, maybe from
Yep.
policy science. They can guide the students for their need and for a better perspective.
Yes, just add one point. So there are two institutes that in you. One is Climate Change Institute, and another is Energy Change Institute, and they have a lot of workshops and seminars that will meet your demands. That if you want to do both engineering and sustainability, there are definitely a lot. You know that and energy is definitely a good lens to look at sustainability from the lens of engineering. So there are a lot of opportunities. Yeah.
Great. Right. I think we're at the end of the session. Thank you so much, Hong and Kamru. I think you've added a lot of value and a lot of perspective to today's session. It was great having you both. And of course, I think I got to learn a lot of things. I'm sure the viewers would definitely learn a thing or two from you. And good luck with your PhD program. And I will again not ask you when you're going to finish that.
Thank you. Thank you so much about that. Thank you, everyone. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much,
Have
Akib, and
a
thank you
nice day.
everyone for joining as a participant, and thank you all.
Thank you. Thanks,
Okay.
Kamal. Thanks, Ang. Good night.
Bye
Good
bye.
night.
Good
See you
night.
guys.